you are going to find that overall now destiny is going to play a very critical role in terms of bringing in certain positive outcomes for you, Geminis. This is a beautiful period for you because I anticipate many of you finding some sort of connection coming with a foreign land with respect to your profession, with respect to career, with respect to your work. If you are facing any kind of continuous health issues, consider adopting a pet because that could be an excellent remedy and it can address some of the challenges that you might face from a health perspective. Hi guys, welcome back to the Astrology. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the transitory movement of the planets, and we will understand that what does the month of February hold for us in terms of our relationships, finances, career, business prospects, your overall health and prosperity. So before we go to understand that what is going to be the impact of these planets, let's try and quickly look into the important dates which are going to define the movement of these planets into different signs and houses for you. Now, as you guys can see on the screen here, Sun is going to be in the sign of Capricorn until 10th of Feb, and from 11th, 12th of February, it will be moving into the sign of Aquarius. It will be in conjunction with Mercury, which is also sticking in the sign of Capricorn as of now and will be moving into Aquarius on Jan 11th. However, Mercury will be making additional movement and it will be getting conjunct with Rahu and Venus in the sign of Pisces from 27th of February. Important thing to note is that Venus is already in its sign of exaltation and it has been in the sign of Pisces since Jan 27th. And it is going to be there for a duration of 110 days in this conjunction. It have very key impacts for all of us. Important thing to understand also is that this Venus is actually forming a Parivartan Yoga, an exchange with itself with Jupiter, because Venus sits in Pisces whilst Jupiter is placed in the sign of Taurus. Yes, it has been in retrograde motion, but Jupiter is going to become direct from February 4th. And in this progressive movement, you are going to see some transformative impact coming into your life. Movements will start happening in multiple areas of your life as we discuss further. Now, Mars is also sitting in its retrograde motion and it has entered the sign of Gemini already, as I had mentioned in my January readings. And you will find that Mars will also become direct or progressive from February 24th onwards. So, both of your retrograde planets, which is Jupiter and Mars, they will become direct and progressive in the month of February itself. So, it's an important event that's going to come into play. Saturn continues in the sign of Aquarius in Purv Bhadrapada Nakshatra, which is ruled by Jupiter itself. And you have Rahu, which is in the sign of Pisces at this point in time. It is in conjunction with Venus in Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra, ruled by Saturn. And Ketu is in the sign of Virgo. It is in Uttara Falguni Nakshatra, which is again ruled by Sun. So these are some of the important dates that are going to come into play for the month of February. So Geminis, as you guys can see on your screen here, you have Mars, which has now come into Lagna itself and it is sitting in the retrograde motion. Jupiter is in your 12th house, while Rahu and Ketu are sitting in 4th and 10th axis respectively for you, along with an exalted Venus in your 10th house. And then you have this clutter, which is happening in your 8th and the 9th house respectively, with Sun and Mercury in your 8th house, which will make a transit, both of them from 11th, 12th of February into your 9th house in the sign of Aquarius, and they will get in conjunction with Saturn. Now, first and foremost, your Lagna Lord, who is currently in the 8th house in conjunction with Sun, is definitely telling you that this is going to be at least the first few days, the first couple of weeks of February is going to be a period where you will be putting a lot of efforts, hard work, which you will even wonder yourself, why the hell or where the hell am I putting my time into? A lot of time will get into actions, work, which is going to be a preparation for future. So please do not underrate the kind of efforts that are going into, because Sun happens to be the lord of your third house, and Mercury is your lord, your superpower in itself. All of it is going into eighth. You will realize that you will be working in the back end. You will be doing chores on a daily basis, which might not appear very fruitful for you, but that is a build up which you are doing for the next few months to follow. And 2025 promises, as I said, a lot of positive possibilities for you. So do not underrate the efforts that are going at this point in time. It is also possible that this is a time where you could be immersing yourself in researching something, immersing yourself in learning something new, because this is going to be a stepping stone for you to prepare for the job opportunities, for the new projects, or any new undertaking that might come your way in the next few months. And thereby, this investment of your energy is going to be especially fruitful. And I know that you will now not be bereft of any kind of energy. Mars has come into your Lagna itself. Yes, it is in retrograde motion. It could bring in certain temper, unnecessary upsetting situations as well along with it, but it brings that requisite amount of energy. You have to keep a check on your communication. You have to manage your words, articulate them very smartly and wisely, because that is going to be critical given that Mars is giving an aspect to your fourth house, seventh house, and eighth house as well. But if you are able to manage that, that energy is going to bounce off within your family to your spouse as well as your in laws in the month of February itself. Now, the presence of this Mars is going to give you some sort of mental frustration, irritation as well. And as I said, your Lug Lord himself, along with Sun, who is the Lord of your third house, is placed in your eighth house. So there could be situations when you feel that your efforts are going in vain, it is all futile. But you have to keep that check in your mental place. You have to keep that check and reminding yourself that it is all worth it. Please do not lose your temper and burst it out to your family members within your home or to your spouse, because I see the risk of you doing that in the month of February. However, your seventh lord, which is representing your spouse, is also sitting the 12th, and there is a possibility that there could be some health related challenges due to weather changes and stuff that might come into play, at least in the initial part. And then once Jupiter becomes direct, at least they will also have the ability to overcome. But it will also bring in certain gains to your spouse during the course of this period itself, as long as Jupiter is remaining retrograde, which is till 4th of February. Mars is also giving an aspect to the 8th house. So just remember that you will be putting in some additional amount of energy in terms of finding the opportunities which are hidden from you, unknown from you. And that is a positive way to look out for things. With Mercury's presence along with Sun in your eighth house, it also tells you that because Mercury is ruling your fourth house, there could be certain initiatives that you might be undertaking within your home, or certain things that you would want to do in terms of learning, grasping, and improving on your knowledge, which could become critical. This is also important because I anticipate some of you taking up courses of some sort, and they may not be certifications necessarily, but courses just to equip your knowledge. Many of you I see keep reaching out to me for, if I take courses with respect to astrology or not, that sort of an interest where one is not providing a degree, but you get to grasp a certain knowledge is a very strong probability that is coming in your way. There could be certain issues that might come in at your home as well. There could be certain repair work, some kind of repivoting, purchasing some sort of furniture or items that can improve the look and feel of your house. That possibility is also coming into play, at least in the first half of the month itself. Now, as we move ahead, we notice that Sun and Mercury will be moving into your ninth house. And this is going to be a superb situation, because you are going to find that overall now destiny is going to play a very critical role in terms of bringing in certain positive outcomes for you, Geminis. Your third lord is coming into ninth along with your lung lord and your fourth lord. So a Kendra and Trikon connection, and an auspicious one, is coming into play for you folks. You could find that there is some sort of a support coming in your way from your superiors, workplace leadership, bosses, and they might be giving you some very critical assignments that give you a possibility to shine. If you're not a working professional, but a homemaker or any other role, it is also possible that you might enjoy the benediction of your fatherly figure, your father-in-law for that matter, if you are living with one. So some sort of affection, positive benediction comes into play for you folks. And your Lord of eighth and ninth is sitting into the ninth itself. So he continues to give you the possibility of slow gains, beat slow but steady gains coming in your way too. Now you have to also understand that Venus, which is ruling your 12th Lord as well, which is the ruler of your 12th house as well as your fifth house, is sitting in exaltation in your 10th in conjunction with Rahu. Guys, this is a beautiful period for you because I anticipate many of you finding some sort of connection coming with a foreign land with respect to your profession, with respect to career, with respect to your work. Many of you who are not in job would find the opportunity within this 110-day period where you could land yourself a good job offer. If you've been looking forward to scout some kind of new role, there is a possibility that you might end up getting into a new job either with an international company, or there is a possibility that within your own company itself, you could open doors for yourself which are outside your current place of operation, current region where you're working. So, some sort of long distance connection or with a foreign entity is definitely coming into play. If you are also looking for any kind of opportunities with respect to your visas, with respect to your immigration changes, movement, there is some good news expected in this period with Venus's presence in this house. You have to also understand the connection of the ninth house with respect to the travel bit that I was calling out, and I just missed that bit. There is definitely going to be some work related travel induced in your profession, and it could be both short distance or long distance, but you are definitely going to reap long term benefits with a long term travel as well. I may not be surprised if you do some kind of leisure journey as well. You might want to take some time off, and it may be a good idea if you feel burnt out in the month of February, because there is going to be a lot of action, quite frankly. With the presence of Rahu and Venus, you are just at a boiling point, if I may, to expand the kind of karma that is coming your way. And then in the next few weeks, as we follow, all these planets are going to be huddling and moving and shifting towards your 10th house itself. So your energy is going to be bursting in terms of the kind of efforts you have to put. And it depends in the kind of stage you are in your life overall. People, if you are students or pursuing some sort of an education, looking forward to get into some sort of courses, I see some success coming your way definitively. There is a strong possibility that you might enroll yourself into new courses, apply for university education, or if you are in a job, you might be reconsidering pivoting yourself and going for some higher education as well. The reason also is because you are going to find success with Mars movement from being your sixth lord into your Lagna. So he is going to bring in that aggression, that fighting spirit. And Mars is also the lord of gains. He is also the lord of desires coming into your first house. So, from education perspective, I definitely see that competitive behavior, that competitive mindset coming into play to help you succeed during the course of this period. The other bit that you would want to understand is that Rahu, which is present in your 10th house, is a significator of income itself, foreign connections itself. So, people who are associated in some sort of import export projects, if you are looking forward to open new lines of businesses, and that has been your ambition, your dream, I think this is going to be one of the most suited periods to put the foundation stone, to put the stepping stone for yourself in that direction as well. Now, as we move ahead, we realize that Mars, as I just touched upon that a bit, is ruling your 11th house. He's been in retrograde, but debilitation in your second. So your wealth gains have been there, but they have been minuscule. They have not been to the kind of tune you would have wanted them to be. But this is going to change now because you are going to become hyper focused. And whatever challenges you feel with Mars debilitation coming into the second house is actually getting counteracted with the exaltation now of Venus. So even though Mars is in retrograde for most part of the month in February for you, you will see 11th lords present in Lagna, and exaltation of Venus is going to act like a catalyst for you guys, Geminis, where whatever goals and objectives you're setting for yourself, whatever targets and desires that you had for yourself could get accomplished. My only caveat, my only warning for you is please keep a check on how you are expressing your desires, how you are communicating your desires, because some level of over enthusiasm could lead in your language as well, and that could hurt your partners, both from a spouse perspective and from a business perspective as well. And that is the only risk that I anticipate with this Mars movement. Yes, you will be hyper competitive. You will be making certain measures to address your physical being, your physical health in general. But, folks, some sort of health issues coming your way or your partner's way are a strong possibility. So, please be careful towards that. When I look into your Jupiter, which is the lord of your 10th house and 7th house, Jupiter is forming a beautiful Parivartan Yoga with Venus at this point in time. And that is where I cannot emphasize enough with the possibility of some foreign connection or maybe health industry connection also coming into way for you. But at the same time, this, Jupiter promises some kind of turbulence to your partner if you're already married. If you're not married, this is going to be a period where you can anticipate some kind of new romance relationship also brewing up for you. I necessarily do not see the possibility of marriage yet, but I think you are going to be carving yourself in that journey and figuring out who you would want to, spend your life with. I mean, that sort of a picture is going to get painted with the efforts that you are going to be, sowing in the month of Feb. Now, this Jupiter is also giving an aspect to the 4th house. So I talked about the challenges that you could find at your home front. I think Jupiter is going to make sure that you address them. But some sort of expenses, some kind of new purchase, etc., is looking very evident. Remember, this house also gets a debilitated aspect from Venus, so you have to be careful on that front. And Ketu is already placed there, and there is an aspect from Mars as well. Now, Jupiter is also going to be giving an aspect to your 8th house as well as your 6th house. I would want you to be taking precautions with respect to health. I have given that perspective from Mars perspective as well. And I would also want you to urge you to figure out as to how you spend some quality time in planning your day. How do you spend your time in terms of keeping things in order? Because if you are able to do so, the kind of alignment you have in your ninth, 10th houses, especially from the second half of February, it is going to be especially fruitful for you in terms of your profession, in terms of your career growth, and even new job opportunities coming in your way. If you are facing any kind of continuous health issues, consider adopting a pet, because that could be an excellent remedy and it can address some of the challenges that you might face from a health perspective. Of course, depends individually on the natal chart as well. But if things are falling in such direction, both from natal and transit perspective, you should consider that. Now, Jupiter's aspect into the 8th also promises some sort of suddenness coming into play. And this is a debilitated aspect. And in the first half of the month, you already have Sun and Mercury present in here. So unexpected loss, unexpected expenses are also promised, or a very strong possibility happening for you. But do not fret. As the month progresses, Geminis, this is going to become much more blossoming period for you, because you are at the first step. You are at the gate to create more and more opportunities for yourself for 2025. So I hope, folks, you've enjoyed this reading. If you have, then please smash on that like button, subscribe to Dave Astrology, and keep watching. Om Namah Shivaya.